Welcome to Defiant Nation Radio, where we defy the narrative that our culture is feeding us. We defy the idea that the scriptures cannot be trusted, and we defy the idea that the God of the Bible does not exist. We defy the idea that we have evolved from monkeys. At Defiant Nation Radio, we uphold the solas of the Reformation. We uphold the scriptures. We believe that salvation is by grace alone, through faith alone, in Christ alone. Defiant Nation Radio is the podcast ministry of EternityAtStake.com.
Hey everybody, I'm back, and today I just want to give a little news update. I know a lot of people struggle trying to keep up with the news. I kind of make it one of my passions in life to keep track of news, both in the political arena and the what's going on in schools, politics, religion, in a number of those areas. So I wanted to give you just a little rundown of some news titles here recently. And some of these I'll probably give you the sources for as I'm reading, and some of them, if you'll just look up the title of the article, you can find them pretty easily. But I don't know how many of you saw, but Chinese communists are going to rewrite the Christian scriptures. They've stopped allowing the Bible to be purchased online. If they find paper copies, they're taking them, and they're trying to change them over. They're going to retranslate them, or kind of bring them more in line with the Communist Party, and I think they call it they want to synthesize all religions. The article says it's a part of a larger effort in China to synthesize all religions, at the same time bringing them into line with communist ideology. And so that was originally published by LifeSite News. You can check that out. A Georgia professor the other day in our wonderful colleges in this amazing land that we have. We got to be aware of what's going on and being taught in our schools, right? Georgia professor says some white people may have to die, and fighting white people is a skill. So it's put out by the Red Elephants. Alerted to it through Ben Shapiro and a couple others, but he actually gets called out in class after his anti-white speech. His name is Irami Osei Frimpong. Don't know if I'm saying that right, but he's at the University of Georgia under the Department of Philosophy. He has a long history of anti-white rhetoric on and off campus. Imagine that. He says fighting white people is a skill. Really, it's one reason I'm in support of integrated schools. You have to get used to fighting white people. It takes practice. This is on Twitter. Blacks kill blacks because they have never been trained to kill whites. Dr. Bobby Wright is what he puts on there. That's from January 12, 2019. One of his other posts says, we have to go to work on whiteness. In the 70s, the federal... Well, let me jump down. That's not what I'm looking for. He says... somebody's calling him out. Jacob Beckham is calling him out. Says fighting white people and killing whites is a journalistically dishonest way of saying fighting white supremacy. IMO. I appreciate your post and willingness to discuss your views with us, though, in the discussion that has sprung up because of it. He goes on. So Irami, he says some white people may have to die for black communities to be made whole in the struggle to advance to freedom. To pretend that's not the case is ahistorical and dangerously naive. We've got to understand, we've been talking about social justice, liberation theology, all this stuff. There's a big racist component to this. So the racial component, instead of the classes, we have Marx set up the classes. You have the rich people and the poor people, and in America, they kind of changed that around because the rich and the poor, there was such a blending of the people. They modified it. So the Frankfurt School and some of the others that were trying to bring this into America, they modified this into race, intersectionality. So think of intersectionality. You think of so if you're a female, obviously according to them you have strikes against you. So if you're a female and you're homosexual, then that's two things so those things intersect, and the more things you can add up, the more you're oppressed. So intersectionality has to deal with oppression, supposedly, of the systems, and so that's what they have done with the Marxist ideas, bringing them and trying to introduce them to America. And so racism, we've got to get a hold on what is going on with the racism component. Again, I'll promote the Dinesh D'Souza's video, Death of America, his book, The Big Lie. He may have a video for that, like I said before, but we've got to be aware of this stuff. A couple others here. I don't know if you saw the other day of the Christian man who's outside of the abortion clinic who got just nailed, beat up in the face. The Daily Caller was recording that the other day. Give you a date here. That's from January 17th, 2019. Articles by David Craden. We see if you're not keeping up with what's going on in the media, and how biased Google, YouTube, which is I believe owned by Google, Facebook, if you are not aware of the bias there, you have got to wake up. Especially if you're working on, like I said, speech and debate for school, or if you're interacting with people that are trying to get articles from Google dealing with things. So the other day, Google employees began to melt down over the word family, and the article says a Google executive sparked a fierce backlash from employees by using the word family in a weekly company-wide presentation, according to internal documents obtained by the Daily Caller News Foundation. Many Google employees became angry that the term was used while discussing a product aimed at children because it implied that families have children, the documents show. The backlash grew large enough that a Google vice president addressed the controversy and solicited feedback on how the company could become more inclusive. Go on, they called it homophobic, I believe, was one of the terms used. So, yeah, there's a link sent back and forth internally on why linking families to children is offensive, inappropriate, homophobic, and wrong. So we are so far down this path of going off the rails. We're off the rails, right? We as Christians have to hold true to the scriptures, continue to train our families, grow our families, build our churches, be a part of the church, and most importantly, fulfill the Great Commission, going and making disciples of all nations, preaching the gospel to every person, no matter what color, no matter what background, no matter what ethnicity or religion. We need to be sharing the gospel regularly because Christ is the only one that can change these things. He's the only one that can make things right. And we know that things will not be made perfect until Jesus Christ, the Prince of Peace, returns. Peace will not reign here on earth until Jesus Christ returns. We see that YouTube admits that it meddled with abortion videos. They downgraded certain abortion videos. My computer's taking a minute here to load up. It admits it meddled with abortion search results, but called the ones that it downranked, they called it misinformation. So if there were anti-abortion videos, they downranked them purposefully, and they called them misinformation when there was no reason to do that. These are things that have been leaked out here recently. What's going on with China right now is crazy with communism. What we see happening in the realm of high-speed internet and stuff like that. China seeking ways to kind of get in backdoor on computer systems. We see Stacey Abrams. She's from Georgia, and she ran for the governorship there. She was one of the nominees in 2018. She said she would not be opposed to non-citizens voting in local elections. So as we're talking about race, we're talking about immigration as well, we're talking about social justice. These things are all being combined, and we have to have answers for them as Christians. So if someone talks to you about this, what are you going to say? We see Black Pro-Life Group is again accusing Twitter, Facebook, things like that of blacklisting them. This was reported on by Breitbart the other day. Love Breitbart News. Black Pro-Life Group accuses Twitter, Facebook, Instagram of Jim Crow blacklisting. I was trying to get down to New York stuff. There was some details here where a school was telling kids that they can't share details on Bible programs, so the kids are able to promote anything else in off times, off class times throughout the school. But supposedly they can't share details on Bible promotion. So the school they were reprimanded for that when it was taken to court. Lawsuit filed in federal court in California by the nonprofit Freedom X Law on behalf of Holly and Jason Bausch, who have two children in the school district. They'd been talking about some of the national Bring Your Bible to School days, things like that, and trying to tell their friends about it. And school told them they couldn't do it, and it kind of depends on state by state, case by case, whether these things are being allowed, not allowed, schools not allowing them. Maybe the courts are knocking them down. We see Russell Moore. I mentioned Russell Moore in the SBC ERLC commission. Russell Moore takes Pelosi's side and urges Trump to give away your taxes to foreign countries in the middle of our shutdown here. Russell Moore is one of those change agents, I believe, that is in the church, who is seeking to promote the Frankfurt School ideologies and Marxist ideologies, the third way communitarian stuff that we've talked about and we'll talk more about. Anyways, I like to try and keep up with news articles, keep you abreast of those things, kind of some big things going on in political and the church realm. And so, anyways, hopefully help you keep abreast of some of those things, and also to help you understand why you need to know how to answer some of these questions, because this stuff is going on. Our kids are dealing with it in schools, from kindergarten through college. We're dealing with it in the workplace. How do we lovingly, caringly answer these things with a Christian worldview, using the scriptures as our foundation in every area of life? So, have a great day, and we'll talk to you later.
If you're interested in learning more, preparing yourself better to witness, go to the website eternityatstake.com. We have several series on there. One of them is Maps from the Ancients. It covers manuscripts, archaeology, prophecy, science, and the resurrection. How do we know the Bible can be trusted? It's great for a homeschool study, great for a Sunday school class, great for an adult or teen class as well. We also have the Light Project, where I look at 8 cults and world religions, examining them. What do they do with God, with Christ, with the Bible, with salvation, heaven, hell, and things like that? Check it out today. Thanks for listening.